Let me show you just how close all of these structures are next to one another. This is why the firefighters were working so hard to get this fire out as quickly as possible so that the flames wouldn't spread. And we're told that the bail bond store right next door, the furniture store next door to that. Joining me now live is Captain Cedric Williams of North Las Vegas Fire Department. Captain, how close are we to determining what exactly this hazardous substance is? So far, 3 people have been taken away in handcuffs for driving under the influence. And you have a very specific message, which is that you guys want the whole process of the coroner's inquest changed. We do, however, know that at this moment, the suspect is still alive, taken to UMC. We will be getting a briefing from Metro momentarily. My photographer and I stepped inside what I believe was the garage when he was downloading some pictures of Billie Jean for us to use in our story, and that's when I first noticed the clutter. This is a developing story, and as you can see behind me, a very active crime scene. We have police officers from North Las Vegas blocking several intersections in this area. In a quiet East Side Valley neighborhood, where an ice cream truck makes its rounds on a Saturday afternoon, residents share their shock over what happened earlier that morning.
With the scream, you heard like a metal hitting the door, because our door is metal, and it was like that.
Marcia Sassnet later learned that the noise she heard was gunshots, the very ones that left her neighbor, her friend, a 27-year-old mother of 4, dead from what police say was a wound to the head, and her young daughter fighting for her life after she was shot in the stomach.
I saw 2 paramedics came. I saw one leave, and I didn't know she was in there.
Investigators have determined at least 3 subjects knocked on the door to the victim's apartment. When she answered, one of them pulled out a gun and started firing.
I heard noises last night. I heard someone running.
Neighbors we spoke to both off and on camera say they didn't see the people involved in the shooting. What they did see and were able to describe to investigators was the vehicle the suspect or suspects fled the scene in.
I see the dark car just driving away from on the road, and that was it. I couldn't recognize what kind of model it is.
Sassnet, for one, says her friend wasn't hated. Instead, she describes the victim as fun-loving and kind, a great cook who loved her children, someone who will be greatly missed.
And she had children. For somebody to know that she had children to do that, you know, it just doesn't make sense. It's bizarre.
The store, which has been a downtown staple for years, is gutted. The owners lost their business, their livelihood, a beloved pet, and it turns out they don't have insurance. That's why they're hoping the community will come together to help them rebuild.
Look at this mess.
Alex Rivas didn't hold back the tears.
There's nothing in here. This looks like my job.
As he assessed the damage to the business he worked so hard to build.
Just having it is like kills me. It's like, I don't know what to do with myself. Everything's gone.
Inside his upholstery shop were hundreds of thousands of dollars of fabrics, supplies, tools.
Yeah. Oh, Lord.
And his customers' furniture.
Question that you don't want to hear. What do I do about my chair?
All burned by Wednesday's fire. PM Anderson has been a client for years and is more upset about the loss the store suffered than her own.
Shock, hurt, sympathy for them.
Listen, I have a beautiful Victorian piece of furniture that was over there.
The problem, beyond all of this devastation, Rivas and his partner don't have insurance.
So we had insurance, and they knew how things are bad right now.
The owners of the upholstery shop say they let their insurance policy lapse several months ago because they couldn't afford it. They say the economy really started taking a toll on business, and they had to cut their expenses in order to survive.
How can you not be upset sitting near this? It could have been me. It's little lucky vases for the bamboo, right? So it's a lucky vase. It's proved itself.
Neighbors are pitching in to help, hoping to save Rivas a few dollars and some grief while he tries to figure out his next step.
I will find out today what's salvageable, if it's worth going in there or not. And, the fire department said you can go in, but to me it looks like everything's gone.
And here's where the community can help. Reva says he could use some help getting new supplies, tools, fabric, maybe even a new place to operate his business from. He says he can also use help with cleanup. Rhino Dumps, for example, already agreed to provide the shop with a dumpster while they cleaned up. Until the remains are positively identified by the Clark County Coroner's Office, Metro cannot confirm that, in fact, the remains belong to Billie Jean James. However, her husband, Bill James, of 40 years, is pretty certain of what he found today.
She was found this morning about noon.
Distraught over his discovery, Bill James didn't share many details, but he did express some relief over what he calls a tragic end.
I guess it's nice to know that it's pretty difficult.
Billie Jean James vanished from her home on April 22nd, leaving behind all of her personal belongings and no signs of foul play. The remains uncovered Wednesday, according to Bill James and his 7-year-old neighbor McKenna, were found inside a cluttered back bedroom.
Oh, there was really messy, almost up to the ceiling.
McKenna says the two were playing dominoes when James told her he had to get back to work.
Then me and him went in the house and cleaned the back. And then he was undoing the clothes, and he found her leg, and he told me to go home.
That's when Bill James called Metro. Officer Bill Castle says investigators from the department as well as the coroner's office responded immediately.
This residence was exceptionally cluttered, to the point that movement within the residence was restricted, and in some areas of the residence very, very difficult.
The desert that surrounds Billie Jean James's home was searched extensively. Metro, community members, family, and friends spent countless hours and days looking for the 67-year-old. And for that, her husband, Bill James, says he will be eternally grateful.
I don't want to mention any names because there's hundreds of people, and that certainly leaves somebody out.
And 7-year-old McKenna told us that her neighbor Bill was scared when he made the discovery, and she told us that she cried because Billie Jean was her best friend. And not only did we speak to Bill today, we spoke to a couple of Billie Jean's friends who were here at the home, and they tell us if these were in fact the remains of Billie Jean, well, at this point they'd be happy to get some answers and know what happened to their beloved friend. Reporting live, Anita, Roman News 3, back to you in the studio.